Hare Krishna Prabhu, Dandavat Pranam. Thank you so much. The way that you're answering the questions in that Q&A, so nice, Prabhu. Really inspiring, and certain tips I take and I use it for my what is that? What do you call so-called preaching? So anyway, Prabhu, actually I have a question. இது வந்து என்னன்னா, let's say this people, a person that I knew once, okay, he's very very loving person, okay. He used to be very nice to everybody, to his family, to his public, to his workers, and everybody is very nice. But he was very angry with God because of certain reason that happened in his life. He got angry, he was disappointed, so he scolded goddess Parvati, okay va. So he scolded goddess Parvati, but other than that he is very loving. He stopped praying, after that he stopped praying, but he's very loving towards everybody else, okay va. And then after some time, because of that too much of pressure or stress he had himself or whatever, he passed away in his sleep, okay. So, what will happen to that soul? How do you categorize this person? If you want to categorize this person as demonic, like Hiranyakashipu or Kamsa, but I feel like Hiranyakashipu and Kamsa, they were very cruel towards his public also, towards other people also. But he was very nice towards everybody except to God, okay, because of certain disappointment. And then yesterday, a friend of mine called, and she was just pouring out saying that my husband stopped believing in God because of disappointment, because he had work retrenchment and everything. And then he always discouraged me to do prayers. Sometimes I sit and do japa, and like how you taught me I'll do japa and everything. He will say, no, don't go too much into it, don't go too much into it. God is in your heart, he knows he will take care of you and everything. He will say like that. But same thing, this person is very nice towards everybody, whoever come and visit their house. He's very loving and everything. And then towards his peers, towards everybody, he's very loving. But he stopped believing in God because of the disappointment. So how do you categorize these people? What will happen when they die? What will happen to the soul? Will they reborn as human again, or will they reborn as something else? Because I feel like they are doing a lot of pious activities, like being nice to everybody and being doing a lot of charity works and everything. But the only negativity there is they stop believing in God. And like I mentioned earlier, the earlier person, he was really cursing Lord, I mean Goddess Parvati, because the disappointment that he had in his life. So, how do you categorize these people? This question been in my head for very very long time, and then I'll be wondering what will happen. So, because I cannot relate them to Hiranyakashipu. So this is the only person I can remember. Hiranyakashipu is demonic character. Kamsa is a demonic character. Ravana is a demonic character. But I really do not know how am I supposed to get an answer for this. I hope Prabhu will help me out in these questions. Thank you, Prabhu. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. So, this is a situation which causes a lot of confusion for many devotees. They see many people who uh, do not believe in God, who are against God, but they are very nice, they are very kind, they may do charity. Sometimes they even may have very good disposition, speak very nicely. So, one thinks then, they cannot be actually like the demons that we hear about in Shastras, like Hiranyakashipu, Ravana, Kamsa. But at the same time, if such people die, where do they go? What happens to them? So, a sloka for reference we can take from Srimad Bhagavatam, right? So, this verse, it's mentioned, Yasyati Bhakti Bhagavatya Kinchana Sarvai Gunais Tatra Samasate Sura. If one is a devotee, he has all the saintly qualities that even the devatas have. Harau abhaktasya kuto mahadguna. But if one is not a devotee, kuto mahadguna, what good qualities does he have? That means to say that if a person is not a devotee, he does not have good qualities. Manorate sati dhavato bahi. Because they are floating on the chariot of the mind, right? Running after temporary things. So here we can see a few points in the question. A person is nice but is godless. So actually we see that this niceness of this person is simply probably based on some swabhav or some nature that the person have. Some people speak nicely, some people naturally talk nicely, some people just very naturally are kind to others. But what is the motivation? Their motivation is based on something material. Maybe they like children, or they just like people, or people of the same race, of the same caste, of the same countrymen, right? Their motivation is something which is also temporary, bodily. But if a person is a devotee and if they are helping others, their motivation is God. So therefore, we cannot take their niceness too seriously. As there is a saying that in English, virtue is a lack of opportunity. So people show good qualities because there's just no reason to. Like I know people who are vegetarian because they feel it is good. It is just something, that they feel that they should do. After some time, doctor tells them that I think you need to eat some eggs for your health. They was like, okay, it's something that's a need now. Let me eat. So their moral compass, or what you say, their value system, is manorathena sati. It's like a chariot of the mind. When they feel like it, they go this way. When they don't feel like it, they go that way. There's no relevance or no static, uh, bearing or compass to their value system. Like for devotees, what is our value system? That which pleases Krishna, I will do it. That which displeases Krishna, I don't do it. Simple as that. But for someone who does not or go against God, it's very risky. It's just a show that they're nice to others. Because ultimately, if you cannot love God, how can you love others? Everyone is part and parcel of God, right? So because of some sentimental reason or some lack of education reason, that we hate God and we go against God, so called, but then we show mankind to others. So that's atheism, right? Or how much actually can we help others? In this world is filled of such people where they decry God and they themselves actually try to become or act like God, right? But how much can you actually help people? How much can you actually love people? Because ultimately everyone is children of God, isn't it? You have to accept that. Another point comes about a person, so nice they die in their sleep. So that's another point altogether. Actually, dying in the sleep is not a good thing. We can discuss that separately, right? And then the main question, what will happen to such a person? So we can never say what will happen to anyone, right? We are not God. We do not know what will happen to them. But in general, of course, we know someone who does not surrender to God, however nice they may be, that niceness has no value actually. That niceness is, so temporary. You can't trust that niceness. So it is not that people who have demoniac nature will have horns and cruel and kill people. That's not really demons. Demons come in various shades. As there's a shloka that goes, Vishnu Bhakta Smrta Deva Asurastat Viparyaya. Those who are devotees of God, they are known as suras, or they are known like devatas. But what are asuras? Those are opposite of that. Those are non-devotees in one sense. Because if you can reject the clarity and the supreme Lord, meaning you have envy towards the Lord, you want to be God in one way. You're challenging or competing with God. Even though you may smile, speak sweetly, talk nicely, talk softly, but ultimately it's a demoniac trait that you do not want to accept the shelter or the mercy of the supreme lord, and thinking oneself to be a separate independent controller. So then we may think that, but then Prabhu, I see that they are better behaved than even some devotees. They speak better, they talk better, they're kinder. But we should not get carried away with this. Why? As this verse says, devotees in time, over time, because they are practicing bhakti, they will develop all good qualities because they are serving that supreme Lord who is the reservoir of good qualities. They will get that qualities. But for those who are non devotees, their good qualities is just temporarily earned. That good qualities will change over time. You cannot trust it. That's why manorathena. It's like a chariot of the mind. It's hovering on the mental plane. You can't trust those good qualities. Therefore, this is the biggest test in devotion, that we should not get carried away by the externals that others may portray. We should understand that someone who has faith in God, who has faith in Shastras, they are always to be said to be better despite of externals. Nectar of Devotion, there's a verse that comes which says, this is the sixth verse of the Nectar of Instruction, Shri Upadeshamrit, where Rupa Goswami advises, Drishter Swabhava Janiter Vapushascha. One should not see the so called external faults that are there present in a body or the character of a devotee. Vapusha Swabhava. Sometimes a devotee may have not a very good swabhava. For example, if someone born or grew up in a very uncultured area, they may talk a bit rough, they may speak a bit rough, but don't take it very seriously. Now they have become a devotee, their bearing or their value system or their coordinates, that is right. Right? Vapusha, somebody has a bad body, deformed body, for whatever reason, one should not take it very seriously. There may be very beautiful people in the world, but who are atheists, who do not surrender to God. One should not trust that. So, drishter swabhava janiter vapushascha dosher na prakritatvam iha bhakta janasya pashed. You should not see this among the devotees. He gives an example. Gangambasam na kalu budbuddha fena panker. In the Ganga, you see sometimes there's budbuddha, there's bubbles. Fena, there's foam. Panke, there's mud. And one should not think that, oh, Ganga has become dirty. No, Brahma Dravatvam. It is a pure, it is actually the Charnamrit from the lotus feet of the Lord. It is actually the most purifying waters. But from external vision, one may see it very bad, but one knows actually its spiritual value. So Rupa Goswami is advising a very big, important advice to practicing devotees that do not judge our own devotees for whatever so-called swabhava, their nature, their character, their body externally, right? And we should also not get carried away by the character or the body of non-devotees. They may seem superior, seem better. And sometimes, we see devotees, they say like this. If we actually start glorifying the non-devotees for that external traits and putting down our own devotees, then actually we commit offense, right? So whatever good qualities we see, or apparent good qualities, we know it's not going to last, but whatever apparent good qualities you see in non-devotees, just appreciate it for it is. But we can't take it too seriously. We may become a little inspired that, oh, look, they have such good qualities, they speak nicely, they care for others, so let me also try to do it. But one must also understand that their care, their love, their whatever qualities, it's not to be trusted, because it is manorathena. There's no bearing to it. Today they are like this, tomorrow it can change. One should not take it too seriously. Therefore, there is no replacement for someone who have taken shelter of the lotus feet of the Lord, who becomes a devotee, because that is actually the rightful position. Hare Krishna.